Welcome in, everybody. We're diving deep today into Paulo Coelho's The Archer. You know, when I first picked this up, I gotta say, I wasn't sure what to expect. But wow, this little book really packs a punch.
It's amazing how Coelho takes something as seemingly straightforward as archery and turns it into this profound metaphor for life, for mastery, for really anything you set your mind to.
Yeah, exactly. Like you start reading and you think it's just this simple story about a carpenter named Tetsuya, and then boom, he's revealed to be this legendary archer living a quiet life. Talk about a plot twist.
Right. And then he starts teaching first this stranger who comes to him and then this curious young boy who's hanging around about the way of the bow. But it quickly becomes clear that he's not just talking about hitting a target. It's so much deeper than that.
So let's break it down. One of the things that really jumped out at me was his emphasis on allies, on who you surround yourself with. And it's not just like, oh, find some friends. He's very specific about the kind of people we should seek out.
Totally. He says, look for those who are willing to take risks, to experiment, to make mistakes. It's like he's saying, find your tribe, the people who are always pushing the boundaries, always striving to learn and grow.
And he even goes so far as to say, learn from bakers and farmers. Like,
Yeah.
what's the connection there?
I love that part. It's like he's saying, open your mind to different perspectives, different ways of approaching life. You know, the baker's patience with dough, the farmer's deep understanding of the seasons. There's wisdom to be found everywhere if we're willing to look.
It's like that beautiful image he uses, being like water, finding your path to the sea, no matter what obstacles get in your way. So inspiring.
And I think the point about allies ties into that perfectly. They're the ones who remind you that it's okay to stumble, to change course, to keep flowing.
Then you've got this whole concept of the bow, the arrow, and the target. Each element has so much symbolic weight.
Each one represents a crucial part of the process. Like Tetsuya says, the bow is life itself. It's the source of your energy, your potential.
The arrow, then, is our intention, the force that propels us forward.
And the target, of course, is what we're aiming for, our goal, our objective.
But here's where things get really interesting. He warns against seeing the target as an enemy. What do you make of that?
Well, if you're so fixated on hitting the target, on winning, on proving ourselves, we miss the whole point. It's not about the destination. It's about the journey, about the growth and transformation that happen along the way.
There's this one line that just stopped me in my tracks. The target needs the arrow just as much as the arrow needs the target. What a powerful idea.
Right. They give each other purpose. Like our goals, our aspirations, they only have meaning in relation to our efforts, our intentions. It's a two-way street.
Okay, shifting gears a bit. There's a whole section on posture and elegance that I have to admit threw me for a loop at first.
Me too. It seemed a little out of left field in a book about archery, but the more I thought about it, the more it made sense. It's about this idea of mastery, of bringing your full presence and intention to everything you do.
Right. It's not about being superficial or showy. It's about honoring your craft, striving for excellence in every aspect, even the seemingly small things.
It's like finding that perfect alignment, that balance between effort and grace. Tetsuya says it's uncomfortable at first, but it ultimately leads to greater ease and precision.
And he talks about elegance as this quality of stripping away the unnecessary, finding clarity and concentration.
He uses the example of snow, how simple and pure it is, or seemingly flat sea, how much depth it holds. It's about reaching a state of focused intention in everything we do.
Okay, so how do we actually bring all this into our own lives?
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing to read about it, but how do we embody these ideas in a practical way?
Well, Tetsuya really stresses the importance of repetition, of practice. But he makes it clear that it's not about mindless repetition. It's never the same, even if it looks that way from the outside.
He uses those great examples like the farrier's hammer always striking the same anvil, but each blow shaping the metal differently. Or the windmill sails, always turning in the wind, but each rotation generating power.
Exactly. So it's about being present in each moment, noticing those subtle differences, those nuances, and making adjustments as needed.
So we're not just going through the motions. We're constantly refining, honing our skills, developing our instincts.
You got it. We're learning to read the wind and adapt just like an archer would. And that's how we move from simply doing something to truly mastering it.
And then there's this incredible section about the moment of release, that split second where everything comes together.
Ah, yes. This is where Tetsuya talks about two types of shots. One made with precision but no soul, and one made with the soul.
It's like the difference between going through the motions and truly connecting with your intention, your purpose.
Absolutely. The first type of shot, it's just about technical skill, while the second, it's about aligning your whole being with the arrow's flight. It's about that moment of inspiration when everything clicks, your technique, your instinct, your intention.
And that image he uses of the archer standing with arms open, vulnerable, yet completely connected to everything around them.
Powerful stuff. It's like the archer becomes the arrow in that moment, completely surrendering to the
I
process.
literally got chills reading that part. It so perfectly captures what he's talking about.
And you know what's really amazing is that this applies to anything we do, any pursuit, any passion. It's about finding that way of the bow in our own lives.
It makes you think, what are we passionate about? What are we willing to put in the time and effort to master, to really dedicate ourselves to?
And how can we approach our goals, our dreams, with that same elegance, intention, and connection to something bigger than ourselves?
These are the big questions that Tetsuya's lessons make us grapple with. This deep dive is already blowing my mind.
Mine too. But hold on, we're just getting started. We still need to unpack this whole idea of the archer without a bow, without an arrow, without a target. That's where things get really mind-bending. Okay, so we've been talking about all these different aspects of the way of the bow, but now we come to this really fascinating, almost paradoxical idea. The archer without a bow, without an arrow, without a target, what does that even mean?
It's like once you reach a certain level of mastery, the tools themselves become almost irrelevant.
Right. It's like Tetsuya is saying that once you internalize those principles, once you really embody them, they transcend the physical act of archery. It becomes a way of being, a philosophy that you carry with you in everything you do.
And to illustrate this, he tells this really compelling story to the boy about how he actually learned archery from this mysterious man who saved his life.
Oh, yeah, that story adds a whole new layer to everything. It takes us back to before Tetsuya was this famous archer, back when he was really struggling, kind of lost in life.
Like before he even became a carpenter, right?
Yeah, exactly. He was working for this nobleman, taking care of his stables, but he had all this free time, and instead of using it wisely, he kind of spirals. Drinking, gambling, chasing women. It's almost hard to read because you can see how much pain he's in.
It's that classic self-destructive pattern,
Yeah.
trying to find happiness and fulfillment in all the wrong places.
And it all leads up to this moment where he collapses in the wilderness after this crazy night of partying. He's convinced he's going to die alone and far from home. It's like he hits rock bottom, both physically and emotionally.
And that's when this enigmatic figure appears, this man who seemingly comes out of nowhere and takes him in, nurses him back to health. It's like a scene straight out of a myth, almost like a divine intervention.
I know, right? And the man takes care of him for months, no questions asked. There's this incredible kindness and compassion there, especially considering how messed up Tetsuya was at the time.
And during his recovery, he starts watching this man practice archery every day. It's not explicitly stated, but I got the sense that there was something about the discipline, the focus, the almost meditative quality of it that really resonated with him.
Absolutely. Like he saw in archery a reflection of the inner peace and clarity that he was so desperately craving.
So once he's finally healthy again, he asks the man to teach him. And the man agrees, but not without giving him this very serious warning. He says, death had come very close and will always be 2 steps behind you because of the damage you've done to your body.
Man, that line gives me chills every time I read it. It's a stark reminder that our actions have consequences, that we can't just outrun our past.
But it's also a message of hope, right? The man isn't condemning him. He's giving him a way to face his mortality, to live each day with intention and make the most of the time he has left.
Exactly. And it's through archery that Tetsuya finds that path. It becomes his anchor, his way of staying present, of appreciating the life he's been given.
And he flourishes under the man's guidance. He becomes this incredible archer, wins competitions, gains fame. But then, as we talked about earlier, the man takes away his arrows and his target.
It's such a powerful moment. At first it seems almost cruel, right? But it's actually this incredible act of liberation.
It's like the man is saying, look, you've learned the lessons, you've internalized the way of the bow. Now it's time to take it out into the world.
And it's so beautiful how Tetsuya returns to his original craft, carpentry. It's like he comes full circle, but he's not the same person who left. He brings all this wisdom, all this depth to his work.
And it's not just about carpentry, right? It's about how he approaches everything. His relationships, his community, his own inner life.
It's like the archery has become woven into the very fabric of his being. It's not something he does, it's who he is.
This whole story within a story within a story. It's just so brilliantly done. It adds so much richness and depth to Tetsuya's character and really drives home the message of the book.
It reminds us that everyone has a story. Everyone has a past that shapes who they are, even someone as seemingly wise and centered as Tetsuya.
And sometimes it's those very mistakes, those times when we feel lost and broken, that lead us to our greatest teachers, our most profound insights.
Absolutely. Just like Tetsuya's encounter with the mysterious man, those moments of darkness can be turning points, opportunities to reevaluate our lives, to find our own way of the bow, so to speak.
This deep dive is already giving me so much to think about.
Me too. I'm so curious to hear how it all wraps up, though. You mentioned earlier that there's a final scene where Tetsuya actually tells the boy how he learned to shoot a bow.
Oh, yeah. That's like the hidden gem at the end of the book.
Okay.
And it brings everything we've been talking about into even sharper focus. All right, so we've got to hear this story. Tetsuya's about to tell the boy how he learned to shoot a bow. I'm hooked.
Me too. It feels like we're about to get the missing piece of the puzzle.
Right. It's like a flashback within a flashback. We know he was rescued by this mysterious man and found redemption through archery. But now we're going even deeper back to what led him to that point.
It's a good reminder that we all have a past, Everyone's got a story that shapes who they are, even someone like Tetsuya.
For sure. So Tetsuya tells the boy that before he was an archer, before he even became a carpenter, he was working for a nobleman, taking care of his stables.
Humble beginnings. Sounds like a pretty chill gig, though, right? Lots of downtime.
Yeah, he had a lot of free time. But he didn't exactly use it wisely. He got caught up in this whole pattern of drinking, gambling, chasing after women. It's kind of tough to read, honestly, because you can see how lost he was.
Yeah, it's that classic self-destructive cycle, right? Looking for happiness in all the wrong places.
And it all comes crashing down when he collapses in the wilderness after a particularly wild night. He's totally convinced he's going to die out there, alone. It's like the ultimate rock bottom moment, physically and spiritually.
And that's when the mysterious man enters the picture. It's almost like fate stepped in, wouldn't you say?
It really does feel that way. And the man, he takes Tetsuya home and nurses him back to health over several months. It's an act of pure compassion, considering how far gone Tetsuya was.
It says a lot about the kind of person the man was, right? This willingness to see the potential in someone, even when they couldn't see it in themselves.
Totally. And so during his recovery, Tetsuya watches the man practice archery every day. I think he was drawn to the discipline, the focus, the almost meditative quality of it all.
Oh, definitely. It was probably like a mirror reflecting back the peace and clarity he was so desperately missing in his own life.
Exactly. So once he's finally healthy again, he asks the man to teach him. And the man agrees, but not before giving him this really stark warning. He says, "Death had come very close and will always be 2 steps behind you because of the damage you've done to your body."
Ooh, heavy stuff. It's a reminder that our actions have consequences, that we can't just escape our past.
True. But there's also a sense of hope in those words, right? The man isn't shutting him down. He's offering him a way to confront his mortality, to live with more intention.
I see what you mean. And through archery, Tetsuya finds that path. It becomes his way of staying present, of appreciating the lay he's been given.
It becomes his anchor. And he thrives under the man's guidance. He becomes this amazing archer, winning competitions, gaining fame. But then, like we talked about earlier, the man takes away his arrows and his target.
Such a powerful moment, right? It seems harsh at first, but it's actually this incredible act of freedom.
It's like the man is saying, "You've learned what you need to learn. The way of the bow is a part of you now. Go live it."
I love that. And then it's just so perfect how Tetsuya turns to his love for carpentry. It's like he comes full circle, but with this whole new depth and awareness.
Exactly. It's not just about carpentry, though. It's how he approaches everything in his life now. Relationships, community, his own inner world.
The way of the bow has become who he is, not just something he does.
It's incredible how this story within a story adds so many layers to everything. It really drives home the message of the book in such a powerful way.
It's a reminder that we all have our own unique stories, our own journeys to make. And even when we stumble, when we make mistakes, there's always a way back, a chance to find our own way of the bow.
This whole deep dive has been so eye-opening. It's given me so much to think about in my own life, My goals, my purpose, how I approach the world.
Me too. The Archer might be a small book, but it's packed with so much wisdom. It's like Coelho is giving us a map, a guide to living with more intention and purpose.
Absolutely. To everyone listening, I highly recommend picking up a copy. It's a journey worth taking.
And remember, the real adventure begins when we let go of the need for the bow, the arrow, the target, and allow those principles to guide us on our own unique paths.